Mic check 1 2. It's the Y2K collector. Let's talk about your YouTube journey. Now, this is for folks that have a YouTube channel. Maybe you've just started out and you're thinking about ways you can grow. And this is also for the folks who maybe you want to start a YouTube channel, but you're a little bit on the fence and you don't really know if it's something that you should do. I'm giving you my perspective because I am an individual who started a YouTube channel about 4 or 5 years ago. I don't have any paid sponsorships. I am not a massive, huge YouTuber that's going to give you a bunch of advice that isn't applicable to you because you're just starting out. And I'm not going to give you a bunch of anecdotal information either. I'm going to try to be as realistic as possible with this information and kind of just share some advice with you that I think will help you mentally, because YouTube is very much a mental game as it is a technological and creative game, right? And just now that I've already touched on the mentals, let's talk about it. Like anything in life, when it comes to YouTube, you have to set realistic expectations for yourself. There is a very, very small percentage of folks that get on YouTube and immediately when they hit YouTube, they're garnering thousands of views and their channel is blowing up with a massive number of subscribers. That does not happen every day, primarily because it's not solely dependent on your ability to create beautiful videos. It's not solely dependent on the topic or genre that you get into. There's so many factors that impact how well or successful your videos and your channel will do that it's really difficult to try to create something that will kind of hit on all cylinders and enable you to achieve massive success at light speed. I know there's a lot of creators. I know there's a lot of people out there that want to sell you their YouTube growth program that will tell you, oh, there's lightning, grow your YouTube channel with lightning speed by doing X, Y, and Z. No. Google is constantly updating their algorithm. This is an algorithm-based thing. No one has the algorithm outside of the algorithm creators. People can guesstimate, they can assume, they can say a lot of things. And I'm not saying that all of that advice is trash. I'm not saying that none of it is useful. And I'm not saying that there aren't people who haven't achieved success following some of those tidbits. But again, it's a small number of creators in comparison to the millions of channels that are created, right? I don't know if it's monthly, weekly, or yearly, but there are millions of channels that are created each year. And so not everyone can be successful. Not everyone can have 100,000 views on each video. And it's only going to happen for a select few. So I'm just saying that to say that it's not impossible, but it's not probable, especially when you first start your channel. So that's part one. And because of that, right, going into creating a YouTube channel, it cannot be your purpose and reasoning for starting a YouTube channel cannot be so that you can generate views, because if you do that, you're going to get frustrated and you're going to stop making YouTube videos and you're going to quit. On top of that, if you do that, you're constantly going to be comparing yourself to other channels, right? You're always going to be doing that. You're always going to be dropping a video, then you're going to look to see who else dropped a video within the last 24 hours. And if someone else, generated more views than you, you're going to feel a certain type of way. So forget what everyone else is doing. Forget, about trying to become Mr. Beast, and concentrate on the thing that you're most passionate about, the thing that you want to talk about, and concentrate on being the best version of you. Be authentic, right? So, which leads me into thing number two. So the first thing that I would suggest is setting the right expectations. Don't think that you're going to jump in here and become Mr. Beast in a week. You're not. Part two is be authentic. Be yourself. Being yourself means a lot of things. That's a very broad statement, and I hate it because it's like, okay, well, be myself. What does that mean? That means do what's the most comfortable to you and for you. Talk about the things that are most comfortable for you. If the most comfortable thing for you is to point your camera, and even if it's just a phone, because 90% of my videos were filmed on an iPhone. If that means pointing your iPhone at the sofa and talking to the camera, if that's authentic, if that's you, then do that, right? And eventually people are either going to love it or hate it. And those that love it are going to stick around. Those that hate it are going to walk away. But you should never concentrate on the people that hate it. Why? Why would you concentrate on the people that don't like your content? Let them go. There's millions of people on the planet, and there's probably millions of people who will like your content, right? I can't tell you how many times on my channel I've made the statement that I'm going to start to put more energy and effort into making more edited videos. And you know what a lot of my subscribers wind up telling me? No, Y2K, we love this format. Don't change it. We like it. It feels like we're at our friend's house and they're sitting next to us on the sofa and we're just having a conversation. They like this format. There are some people on my channel who they deal with this format. They don't hate it. Do they like when I make edited videos? Sure. Do they like to see my first person view of me game hunting or going to certain stores that I shop at? I'm sure they do. And sometimes that's reflected in the views, right? Sometimes those videos get more views, but my core audience, the people who subscribe to my channel, the people who like what I do, they accept that this is my format. And so for me to try and change it and do something else would almost be counterproductive to the core base that I've built over the past few years. They understand that this is me. They understand that this is how I communicate, and they like and accept me for me. And I say all that to say that it doesn't matter how you film your videos. It doesn't matter how what special effects you do or what, crazy transitions you do. You cannot edit your way to the top. It's just, editing helps. I'm not saying it doesn't help. Thumbnails help. I'm not saying thumbnails don't help. I'm not saying titles and all these things don't matter. They do matter in terms of the algorithm. And if you execute on those things well, yes, you will have a much greater likelihood of getting views and your channel growing. I'm not saying to ignore those things, but I'm saying if you focus on those things more than you focus on being authentic, you will go nowhere. Because I've seen a lot of people come on YouTube and try to mimic the editing styles, the content creation styles of a lot of their favorite YouTubers, and their channels go nowhere because people, especially today, people have a keen nose for smelling things that are not authentic. They can tell when you're trying to be like someone else. They can tell when you're not really being who you are. And when people don't feel that certain level of authenticity, they're going to walk away, right? So just to recap, first thing is set realistic expectations, right? The second thing is be authentic to yourself. Be authentic to who you are, right? And when you are authentic to yourself, making videos is going to be a lot easier. It's going to be a lot easier on you, and you're going to enjoy it. You're going to want to make videos because it's going to be like, oof, this was cathartic. This was good. I got to get my thoughts and feelings out. And that's how I feel after I make a video. I'm like, man, I got to get these thoughts off my chest, and then I get to sit back and hear from the community in the comments. Which is why I make so many videos, because it never feels like work. Every time I make a video, it feels like I'm going to a group of people that I've connected with, and I'm having a conversation with you guys. I'm like, hey guys, hey, this is what's on my mind today. And then in the comments, I get to hear feedback, right? And that's what it should be, right? When you make a video, it should be you saying, hey, it should be you going to your audience or going to the audience that you're trying to build and sharing a piece of yourself, a piece of your thoughts. And then you sit back and you get the feedback from them, right? And again, when you approach it that way from a place of authenticity, you are going to enjoy it more, right? The last thing that I will say is, the last piece of advice that I'll give is be consistent. In whatever you're doing, be consistent. Keep doing it, right? If you decide to do something a certain way, keep doing it. It doesn't mean you can't change. It doesn't mean you can't pivot. It doesn't mean that you can't, adopt a different style or try something different or try something new, but be consistent. And let me, again, the term be consistent is very broad, right? So let me be a little bit more specific. Consistently post videos, consistently. And again, don't look at it as I need to post a video. Think about it like I need to communicate with my audience today. I need to communicate with my community today, because even if it's only 5 people or 10 people, someone out there is waiting to hear from you. They're waiting to hear what you have to say today. They're like, you know, I haven't heard from this YouTuber. Normally they post something at least once. They would have posted by this point. I haven't heard from them today. And then guess what? When you do post, then someone is going to someone's going to respond, and they're going to say, okay, wow, they posted today, and they're going to tune in. They're going to hear what you have to say. I'm just going to conclude with this. I mean, there are a lot of changes in YouTube right now. I think we saw the height of YouTube pass. 2020 and 2021 and 2022 were massive years for YouTubers. If you started a channel around that time, you had a much greater chance of growing faster because there were more eyes on YouTube at the time. Doesn't mean YouTube is dead now. It's just that that was a good time. Right now, a lot of channels are seeing dips in their views because people have returned back to their regular life. You know, people aren't sitting at home watching YouTube all day. They're back to work. They're going outside. They're doing things. On top of that, a lot of the topics that we watched, 2, 3, 4 years ago are getting stale. Even if you just look at the gaming community or the retro community, how many more pickup videos do you want to see? How many more yard sale videos do you want to see? How many more, eventually this stuff gets stale. How many times do you want to hear about Earthbound and, I don't know how many, or Rule of Rose, or whatever game it was, generates a lot of views. How many times do you want to hear about it? I think eventually people get tired of it, and they may not protest it, but they're just not going to watch it. And so as a creator, you kind of have to find things you have to move along, right? Move along while staying true to your overall genre, but just move along. There are new things happening in gaming all the time that may not necessarily be related to you streaming gameplay footage. There's other things that you could talk about that gamers will respond to, right? Because, a lot of people think that just because you're a certain channel, you have to specifically talk about that topic. No, you're not. When you're making a video, you're not talking to the topic. You're talking to the people who enjoy the topic. And those people might enjoy other things outside of that topic. So just like in my channel, although I know a lot of you love video games, a lot of you probably love retro games. At the end of the day, you're all human. You're not drones. You're not sitting there playing video games all day. You have lives outside of video games. At least I hope you do. You have friends, you have family, you have a girlfriend, you have a boyfriend, you have kids maybe, grandparents, and you have life outside of video games. And so sometimes when I touch on things that may not necessarily be specifically related to gaming, maybe they're related to developing yourself, finances, whatever the case may be, some of that is relatable to some of you, right? And so keep it human, right, is what I'm saying. Keep it human. Keep your channel human. Try not to act like you're a broadcast company, and, keep it human. Your subscribers and your viewers are regular people who have regular people issues, and they are going to feel more comfortable knowing that they're being spoken to by another human. So stop all the AI crap. I'm joking. AI is great. But that's all I've got for you today. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Does any of this make sense? Was I just babbling, rambling, as many of you say that I often do? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.